hi, all my friends. I hope that you're doing well on this Thursday. Uh, Andrea, I have a question for you. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Tar in the ocean? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I'm not, okay. Clarify what you're talking about, would you? One of my subscribers. Um, And I just did a new song in case you wanted to check it out. All of my country western friends, in case you didn't know, by Brett Young. And you might enjoy it. Um, so I'm just kind of looking right now for my there we go. Okay. My book here. Okay, so anyway, so it looks like North Korea is up to its old tricks again. Delay tactics, and according to Fox News and the Outnumbered, they were saying that they just feel that their scientists are definitely working hard to try to get that ICBM with a nuke tip that could hit anywhere in the United States. And haven't we learned yet that war and killing is not the answer? I mean, really, people, when are we going to stop doing this? Wait a minute, did I go too far? Okay, yeah. Okay. So, okay, 58. All right. So, really, truly, love is only the answer to everything. Because we come from love. Hello? Get a clue. Wake up, you guys out there. Anger and fighting and killing, it's not the answer. I'm sure all the angels and everybody's just looking down at us going, God, haven't they learned yet? Really, it's so sad. Oh, man. All right, so people who are engaged in carnal love don't see anything in heaven's light. Speaking about detached love, that's what you need to do. If somebody's really super upset, detach, take a breath, detach from them. Don't engage in the drama, but with love. And people can't stand silence. They want you to engage. They want you to be a part of all the drama and everything. They want to suck you in. Don't do it. Just stand back, give them time, be loving. Don't be mean. It's a hard thing to practice or to learn, but just do it. And then, and that's, because when you get involved, like with, even if you love somebody and then you're feeling all these carnal things going on, that's what gets you in trouble. You can love somebody, but be detached physically, don't engage your body in it. You know what I'm saying? Engage your heart in the love from the Lord that He gave you. Be loving that way. That's even more precious. Sure, you don't think I haven't felt like wanting to be very physical with people? Of course, I'm a huggy person, and it's hard to not engage in it. And I think it's one of the struggles that Paul had, often, and that we all have. Anyway, so carnal love don't see anything in heaven's light. Heaven's light is darkness to them, while hell's light which is like the light of glowing embers, is like daylight to them. In fact, in heaven's light, their inner sight is deprived of light to the point they become insane as a result, and they run away from it and hide in caves and caverns in the depths that correspond to the false convictions that stem from their evil intentions. Exactly the reverse is true for people who are engaged in heavenly love, though. Deeper or higher they enter into heavenly light, the more clearly they see everything, and the lovelier it all looks, and the more intelligently and wisely they grasp what is true. And there's no way that people who are engaged in carnal love can live in heaven's warmth, because heaven's warmth is heavenly love. They can live in hell's warmth, though, which is a love of cruelty towards people who do not support them. The pleasures of this love are contempt for others, hostility, hatred, vengefulness. They are absorbed in these. They are in their very life with no knowledge whatsoever of what it means to do good for others out of sheer goodness and for the sake of good itself. All they know is how to do good out of malice and for the sake of malice. People who are engaged in carnal love cannot breathe in heaven's ether. When evil spirits are taken there, they draw breath like someone who is struggling painfully. On the other hand, people who are engaged in heavenly love breathe more freely and feel more alive and deeper into heaven. They feel more alive the deeper into heaven they come. So we may gather that this is heavenly and spiritual love. And spiritual love is heaven for us because everything heavenly is written on that love. And the carnal and worldly love apart from heavenly and spiritual love is hell for us because everything hellish is written on that love. We can see then that people come into heaven who have a heavenly spiritual love. People come into hell who have a carnal worldly love without a heavenly spiritual one. The fact that our faith does not stay with us unless it comes from a heavenly love has been brought home to me by so much experience that if I were to relate what I have seen and heard about it, it would fill a book. I can attest to this. There is no faith whatever, and there can be none for people who are engrossed in carnal and worldly love apart from heavenly and spiritual love. There is only information or second-hand belief that something is true because it serves their own love. Further, a number of people who thought they had faith were introduced to people of real faith, and once communication was established, they perceived that they had no faith at all. They even admitted later that simply believing the truth or the word is not faith. But faith is loving what is true from a heavenly love, intending and doing it from a deep affection. I was also shown that the second-hand belief they called faith was only like the light of winter, in which everything on earth lies dormant, bound by the ice and buried in snow because there's no warmth to the light. As a result, the moment it's touched by rays of heaven's light, the light of their second-hand faith is not only extinguished, but actually becomes a dense darkness in which people cannot even see themselves. At the same time, too, their deeper reaches are so darkened they cannot discern anything and ultimately go mad because of their false conviction. The result is that all the truths such people have learned from the Word and from the teaching of the Church are taken away from them. All the things they claimed were part of their faith, in their place, they are filled with everything false that accords with the evil of their life. They are actually all plunged into their loves, into the false notion that supports them as well. Then, since truths contradict the false, malicious notions they are absorbed in, they hate the truths and turn their back on them and reject them. I can bear witness from all my experiences of what happens in heaven and in hell that people who have confessed faith alone as a matter of doctrine have engaged in evil as regards their their lives are all in hell. I have seen thousands of them sent there and described them in the booklet, The Last Judgment, and Babylon destroyed. The fact that love is action, therefore our life is what remains, follows logically from what I have presented from experience and what I have just said about deeds and works. Love in action is the work and the deed. We do not need to know that all works and deeds are matters of moral and civic life, and therefore focus on what is honest and right and what is fair and equitable. What is honest and right is a matter of moral life. What is fair and equitable is a matter of civic life. The love these come from is either heavenly or hellish. The works and deeds of our moral and civic life are heavenly if we do them from heavenly love, because things that we do from a heavenly love we do from the Lord, and everything we do from the Lord is good. On the other hand, the deeds and works of our moral and civic life are hellish if they come from a hellish love, since whenever we do from this love, which is a love for ourselves and the world, we do from ourselves, and whenever we do from ourselves is intrinsic evil. In fact, seen in our own right, or in terms of what is actually ours, we are nothing but evil. After death, the pleasures of everyone's life are turned into things that correspond. I explained in the last chapter that our dominant affection or predominant love stays with us forever. Now, though, I need to explain that the pleasures of that affection or love changes into things that correspond. Changing into things that correspond means changing into spiritual things that answer to the natural ones. We may gather that they change into spiritual things from the fact that as long as we are in our earthly bodies, we are in the natural world. But once we leave that body behind, we arrive in the spiritual world and put on a spiritual body. Our angels having perfected human forms and being people after death, and on the bodies they wear being spiritual, and for the description of the correspondence of spiritual things with natural ones. All of our pleasures stem from our dominant love, for the only things that feel pleasure to us are the ones that we love. So the most pleasant of all is what we love above all. Whether you say our dominant love or what we love above all, it amounts to the same thing. There are different pleasures, as many generally speaking, as there are different dominant loves, which means as many as there are of us and of the spirits and angels, since no one's dominant love is entirely like that of anyone else. This is why no one's face is exactly like that of anyone else's, since the face is the image of the mind, and in the spiritual world is an image of the dominant love. The pleasures of any specific individual are infinitely varied as well, with no pleasure ever entirely like any other. This applies both to the pleasures that come in sequence and in the ones that occur simultaneously. No two are ever alike. However, the specific pleasure of any given individual go back to that single love, which is the individual's dominant love. In fact, they constitute it, therefore become one with it. In much the same way, all pleasures go back to one love that is universally dominant. In heaven, a love for the Lord, and in hell, a love for oneself. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I do hope that you have a pleasant Thursday and good rest of your week, and happy Friday for tomorrow if I'm not able to talk to you. Going to be doing some more music on the weekend, practicing and that sort of thing. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So lots of cleaning to do, and all those chores. So leave me a line, drop me a line, and Andrea, please clarify for me what you were talking about. I'm not quite sure. We were talking about the sky, and then it ended up ocean stuff, so, okay. All right, love you.